Hey guys, I cannot see Marianne or anyone else.
I can see everyone. I don't know if we're good. At Meritindo.
I can see you now, Marianne. I don't know where Irene is. Yeah, I can see ya. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this important conversation on disability content creation for advocacy. Uh, in today's digital world, social media is a powerful tool for shaping the perceptions, amplifying voices, and driving policy changes. However, disability related content often faces unique challenges from algorithmic bias and shadow banning to limited visibility and engagement. So, how can we create an impactful, ethical, and engaging content that reaches the right audience and drives meaningful change? We are having an amazing panel that will discuss all this, and also we have interpreters. But before we introduce ourselves and themselves, I will allow um, our interpreters to introduce themselves and also the moderators. Welcome, Joyce, Mary Kingo, and the great conversation. Thank you.
I can't hear Meritindo. Is it just me?
Joyce and Mary, Joyce, Mugure, and Mary, we are waiting on you.
Thank you, Marianne. Hi, everyone. Um, Welcome to this session today. Meritindo, are you able to? I, I can't hear you. I know Mary was trying to speak, but I can't hear her. Would you unmute and try? All right. Um, I think she's still experiencing some challenges, so I will just go ahead. My name is Joyce Muguru, and I work with United Disabled Persons of Kenya, and I will be co-moderating with Mary Tindo for this session. Um, I'd like to first give an opportunity to the panelists to introduce themselves, maybe briefly tell us what you do, and then we can move forward. Jerry, would you please start for us?
Hi everyone. Welcome to this session today. My name is Jerio Kiki. I'm an intern at the Commonwealth Disabled People's Forum, the East African Regional Desk. I'm a storyteller, and I'm also an intersectional disability rights advocate and a person who stammers. Welcome, and I'm looking forward to engaging with you more.
You can pass the ball to one of the panelists.
I pass the ball to Zipporah.
Hi everyone, my name is Ziporongera. I'm a digital content creator. I'm a disability advocate. I'm a social media manager, and yes, thank you for this opportunity and welcome to the talk.
Pass the ball, Zippy.
Alan.
Alan?
Sorry, I was muted. Good evening, and thank you, Zipporah, for passing the ball to me. My name is Alan Hubbard. I am a journalist and I am an OPD leader. I lead an organization called Black Albinism, and Black Albinism basically champions for social inclusion for persons with albinism. And this conversation is very pertinent to me because Black albinism leverages social media as a great tool for awareness and advocacy creation. And besides Black Albinism, I am a journalist and I work around the journalism consultancy, communications. Sorry, Jerry, you almost smeared me with the Commonwealth, so I was about to say Commonwealth, but either way, I am happy to be here and be a part of this amazing panel that is going to be discussing the power of social media when it comes to advocacy and awareness creation when it comes to disability. I am not going to pick a particular person that I'm passing the ball to, but we're gonna see who is most aggressive and most passionate about what they do for them to pick the ball next. Thank you.
Okay, I'll go next. My name is Machuka. Okay, my name is Janet Machuka. I'm a digital marketing consultant, trainer, and a content marketer. And when I talk about content marketing, this is where we look at the aspect of can you be found easily? Can you build authority in the platforms? Can you be easily searched and found, especially when you look for if it has to be digital marketing or social media advocacy, individuals on disability, content creation? How can they find you? Will people be easily get you once they search at the top, maybe five, top 10? Well, I have a passion in advocacy and I've been doing this for quite some time, since 2019. I've done in the mental health space, I've done in the climate space, environment, and this is actually a really nice opportunity because I've worked in the past with this particular kind of group of people, and now this time round it gives me also an opportunity to share how can they better use the platforms as a champion of social media use for good and social media for social change. Looking forward to the conversation. Thank you.
Amazing! Wow, thank you so much, and thank you, Alan, for making it even more interesting. Right? Uh, I will allow the sign language interpreters to introduce themselves. Then we can move to the first question.
Hi everyone. My name is Agnes, and my name is Agnes, and my sign name is this. I'm a sign language interpreter for today, and I will pass the ball to Simaloi. Welcome.
Hi everyone, I hope you can hear me. My name is Catherine Simaloi. I'm a sign language interpreter, and I'll be your interpreter tonight.
Thank you so much, and we appreciate the work that you're doing. So, Jumping straight to our panel, I would like to direct the first question to Zipporah. So, Zipporah, how can storytelling be used effectively to shift societal attitudes towards disability? Zipporah? Um, did we lose Zipporah? All right. Zipporah, whenever you're ready.
So, oh, okay. So sorry for that. So disability.
Sorry, Zipporah, the question was how can storytelling be used to effectively shift societal attitudes towards disability? Uh, we know that, around the society has certain attitudes towards persons with disabilities, right? And every day we see people creating content, but we rarely have content that speaks to how we can change those norms or the attitudes that people have towards persons with disabilities. So um, how then can we use storytelling and content creation to address these attitudes?
Oh, so sorry. I hanged somewhere there. So, how can we use storytelling to advocate for disability? I would say first things first. We can use our personal narratives. I'll use myself as an example. I bring out my stories to educate people more on disability, and so that people are not misinformed, because we have so many myths going on about disability and how persons with disability are living in normal days. So I use my personal narrative to shape how people are supposed to know more about me. If you don't use personal narratives, people will just be going on like having those several myths. Another thing I would say is I highlight my achievements most of the times. So I'm like, I'll just give a funny example. I always say, I have one hand. So I get like, let's say, half manicure off. So that's something joyful, so that it's not like disability is um a taboo or a story that someone can pity. Yeah. Another example I'll use, like leveraging multiple mediums of social media. So whatever I post on, let's say on X, I'll post on TikTok, I'll post on Instagram, on Facebook, so that I attract different audiences and I get the word out there. Yes. Another thing that I would say is I engage in real voices. I'm also a YouTuber. So in my podcast, in my stories of disability and flawlessness, so I get persons with disability so that they can share their stories, and so that you can spread the information and avoid the myths and misinformation.
Amazing. So we can leverage different platforms, and also just sharing positive stories or stories of triumph to just ensure that people do not see us in the same perceptions, or they have been, when they think that persons with disabilities are unable to achieve certain things in life or to participate, then we can tell another story, or we can tell a different story and maybe just highlight, yes, we do go through challenges, we face certain barriers, but again, that does not mean we are unable to live life like anybody else. Thank you. I would like to first just let my co-moderator introduce herself, if your mic is working now. Mary,
Yes, good evening, everyone. Am
good
I good
evening.
now?
Yes, we
Thank you
can
so
hear
much.
you.
So my name is Mary Wafula, and I'm commonly known as Mary Tindo in content creation space. I'm a journalist by profession, a disability inclusive advocate, and a mental health champion. I'm so happy to be here, and I believe that the conversations we are having now will even impact us as content creators even more to get to know and understand how we can create content basing on disability to enhance the disability inclusion, and also make sure that we are reporting right using the good language that is supposed to be there, and also to make this world a better place for persons with disability. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Mary. Just acknowledging that we are live on X, on Facebook, and on LinkedIn. So we have participants joining us, and later on we'll be taking questions from them. For now, I would like to just jump right to the next question. And this question, I will direct it to what's the name? Alan. Uh, how can disability advocates leverage social media trends to amplify their messages? How can disability advocates leverage social media trends to amplify their messages? Alan Herbert.
Thank you very much, Joyce, for that question. But before I even delve into that particular question, I would like to share a thought about the previous question about storytelling. And before we even think about tapping into trends, first we have to fully understand what story am I going to be able to tell. So it's not necessarily about telling the story, but also understanding what you want to achieve when you tell that particular story, and being able to structure that story in a way that it has three bodies to it. You have sort of the beginning, the middle, and the end, because you want to grab people's attention. That is number one. And number two, you have to drive your point. And lastly, then you need to call people to action. And now I segue into my question. How can we tap into these trends? First and foremost, we need to ask ourselves, why has that particular thing become a trend? And I know, and I'm not excluding anybody, but Jerry, who is here, who is a gym junkie like me, might know that there is a famous a fitness influencer who is going berserk on the internet right now because of the popularity he is able to drive, and that is a trend that I honestly have not seen any person with a disability jump on. But then, before they jump onto that particular trend, you have to ask yourself, where am I going to plug into this particular trend? Not only for you to be famous in that small moment, but also for you to be able to drive what you are passionate about. So, point number one, before you jump onto any particular trend, ask yourself, how is this relevant to the work that I am passionate about? And when I will give an example, we've done campaigns around climate change when it comes to Black albinism and the work that we do around climate justice. And we always wait for when there is a great moment, a ripe moment that is happening around a climate conversation. For instance, the Dubai Climate Change Summit, or COP28, that was happening right about the same time we were able to put out a campaign on climate change, and it was able to garner a lot of traction, and people go to understand the intersection of climate change and albinism. But of course, sometimes, and this is true to probably some persons with disabilities or all persons with disabilities, not necessarily might we want to do advocacy all the time, but I might want to show you how it is being a person with albinism. And I've been seeing some ladies with albinism on TikTok who have jumped on the trend of quote unquote, what does she have on me? And I've seen a lady, I will not mention their name, but they jumped onto the trend, and she mentioned that she has melanin, and for her she doesn't have melanin. And I saw that in the captions she was able to explain exactly why doesn't she have why doesn't she have melanin. And yes, she used the trend to capture their attention, but then she used that very opportunity to explain why she does not have melanin. So not just jumping onto the trends, but also being able to use those trends to explain or to educate and inform the people that are following you. So that is number one. Number two, you need to understand and also stay into the confines so that you do not perpetuate the misinformation or the derogatory remarks or the non-inclusive language that everybody uses, because you might want to really jump on a trend, but it is hard for you to conceptualize and structure it in a way that is inclusive and that is accessible in some manner. And I guarantee most of us, even some of us who are on this conversation, how many of us remember to put alternative text onto the images that we put onto social media? How many of us remember to share descriptions of videos that we are sharing on social media? So we really need to think about, one, accessibility. Yes, I'm creating content, but how is it accessible for people I'm producing for? And two, how am I able to re-look at the trend and then align it with you as an advocate, what you are really interested in. And my last point would be, how then do you call people to action? Because it is not enough to just jump onto the trend and participate in it, but not able to call people to do a particular thing that now could sort of guarantee the longevity of the awareness that you are able to do. And actually, that takes me to the first very question: storytelling. You have to be able to understand, yes, I'm going to be jumping on this trend, but after jumping on this trend, this is what I want to be the outcome, and this is what I want people to do once I am done participating in this particular trend. Back to you, Joyce.
Thank you so much. That is very informative. That it is not just enough that we take advantage of the trends, but what is the message that we are passing along? What are we trying to what information are we trying to communicate? And of course, accessibility is really big when we are talking about disability inclusion. We must ensure that everyone is included. Use of captioning. I know it's a lot of work sometimes. It's easier for you to do a video input, but are you leaving other people out? And especially when we're trying to raise awareness, are you trying to raise awareness and not including the people you are raising awareness to? So I would like to let my co-moderator take over and ask the next question. Mary, please.
Thank you so much, Joyce. Thank you, Alan. That was a brilliant presentation. My next question will be directed to Jerry Okiki. Alan has talked about content and how to put maybe things like the description. So according to you, Jerry, kindly, what are the best practices for creating engaging and measurable disability advocacy content?
Thank you so much for that question, Mary. And I'll just go back to what my fellow facilitators just said about accessibility, and I just want to stress on accessibility first. You know that when we create content that isn't accessible at all, it excludes the very same people that it's supposed to represent. So when we try and create content, accessibility should be a priority when we are doing the content, but not an afterthought, and you do it after you have done your content, like a use of captions for videos, providing alt text on images, and using even plain language where it is possible, also will increase comprehension. And also to mention another that thing, to just answer the question. When we make content, we know that stories matter, and facts also matters too, but stories move people. And so when creating this content, we should center the lived experiences of persons with disability, because people with connect with the real stories over the statistics that will be uh, providing in the content. So it is very important to ensure that voices of persons with disabilities are at the forefront, and not being filtered another lens. I just want to give an example of that, and featuring a person with a disability in employment workforce, to like share their first-hand experiences, examples in a workplace that highlights both the challenges and the solutions, rather than you speaking over them in the content. So these voices of persons with disabilities should be at the forefront when we are intentional about creating uh, uh, content, and also we should be moving towards like a direction of challenging stereotypes, quote unquote, like we avoid the PT narratives, and instead we should be highlighting the rights, the urgency, and the systematic issues, and focus on the barriers that needs to be dismantled. Instead of during creating this content, we focus on like how to overcome disability, how to be a bit like live without your disability. We should focus on issues like the barriers that needs to be dismantled, and also we should be using engaging formats, visual storytelling, and these are the things that people will be relating with. And to just like finish up on the question, this is one thing I always do, and I will keep doing it when I create content as a disability rights advocate, using an intersectional lens. I do always like provide clear calls to actions, and encouraging my audience to support creators who are persons with disability. And also like I advocate so much about systematic change, policy change, and drive towards that agenda that we want, which is inclusion, which is never a destination. It is always a journey. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Jerry. I just want to let our audience know that we are live on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and on X. So you can follow our live broadcast from any of the platforms that you are comfortable with. And thank you so much for always tuning in. And I will move swiftly to the next question, which I will direct to Madam Janet Machuka. Janet Machuka, my question to you, what are effective ways to encourage allyship through content and create thriving brands that promote disability inclusion? Great. Thanks again for having me on this conversation. I love how the first three speakers have shared their thoughts around the different questions. And I love the fact that storytelling is coming up in every speaker's response. From my point of view, I'll answer it in two parts. First, for the from the allyship, and then also I'll talk about the thriving aspect of it. Look at social media. If you feel like you are a person with disability and you don't really understand or know where to start, first things first, you might feel like you don't even have the numbers, because most of the time people say you should have the followers and then you now share that content to the people. Right now, if you look at this space, there are people who have already created. It doesn't have to be the people in the same community, but people who are, like, for example, Janet Machuka. I have a passion when it comes to conversations around content, growth, community on social media, and collaboration. So first things first, you can even try to reach out to me, because I love talking about society. I love talking about education. I love talking about skills in the digital marketing spaces. And maybe you feel like the way I communicate with the audiences, it can help you to access the particular people that you want to connect with. Reach out. And I think that is one of the things most of the people usually forget, that before you think Janet Machuka is way up there for me to even get the audience, have you tried it? Now, I'm speaking to the people with disabilities. If you feel like you're part of the person with disability and you don't have the audience, before you say, I don't have a community, have you tried to reach out to Janet? Have you tried to reach out even to the people you feel like, I can't be able to get an audience and attention and all that? Personally, I take time to understand what somebody wants. And if it aligns with what I talk to my audience from time to time, why not? We can collaborate to maybe post something, or I can actually amplify your content. So reach out first. And then something else maybe I can nudge the persons with disabilities to do is first things first, please start with education. And I think this is one of the best things that you can ever do on social media. And when it comes to content specifically, I started with educating people on the digital platforms. It doesn't mean that you have to be a teacher, you have to be an expert, you have to have 10 years of experience for you to educate somebody about something. Talk about your personal challenges. Talk about how did you navigate through them. Talk about who helped you to think about the different solutions. Or maybe sometimes if you feel like I have understood how ChatGTP works. I have understood how Canva works. I have understood how to create content on YouTube. Just the same thing that Zipporah is doing. Teach people, talk about it. And people who are within your community who understand you, they will be like, if she did it, I can do it. And I think that is the best way you can think of helping other people to start creating content. Most of the time, some of us, what we have is fear of, what if I spend a lot of time, energy, money creating this, and nobody cares about my content? First things, give it a try. So you have already created, you are educating people, you have asked people to help you amplify. Then what? How do you keep on doing it from time to time? Then now the thriving aspect that I was talking about. Most of us know how to start. Sometimes we don't know how to maintain. If I tell you I started social media marketing in 2017, but I really grasped it in 2018, and here I am talking about the same thing over the years, what actually made me to thrive to date? First things first, education doesn't mean you to go read materials that were there in 2017. We are talking about content in the digital spaces. So understand what is happening and changing every single day. And later on, I will talk about the aspect of what do you do when it comes to things are changing very fast on the digital spaces. You don't know how to create the content that can be green tomorrow, that can be read tomorrow, that can be engaged tomorrow. I'll talk about that. But now I'm talking about how can you thrive. I want you to try three things. I'll give you three C's. The first C I'll give you is build conversations, create conversations. And you'll notice that with conversations, people will always jump in to respond. People will also think about, oh, I have an opinion. What if I ask Zipporah this and that in their YouTube videos? And that is how Zipporah will think of, what's my next conversation topic? Sometimes people think we don't read the comments, but the conversation in the comments is what actually changes how people create their content going forward. So create conversations, and conversations should be in the comment section. It's not about the like, it's not about the share, it's about what are people saying. So if you can ask people, what do you think? Or tell me your experiences, or what have you done that has helped you? That is the conversation. And through that conversation, it will give you a chance to see different ways you can approach your content, or even come up with better ideas to keep on creating new content, having conversations with other people. The next C, community. When I talk about a community, usually people think a community has to be you creating a WhatsApp group, you creating a Twitter space community. We have communities on X, or you creating a Facebook group, or you thinking of, I need to create a Facebook page or LinkedIn group. A community starts from the people who follow your account. That one account of yours, those are individuals who make up your community. So how do you make them feel part and parcel in your content, in everyday conversations? Started with conversations, now we are in the community. Remember, these conversations have to build a community. And this community, there are people who need to feel like they're part and parcel of you. So how do you do it? I want you to try this. Let's say every Wednesday you're going to drop a conversation, or maybe collaborate with different individuals who support or advocate for conversations, or create content alongside the disability space for advocacy. I want you to be highlighting them on that specific day. For example, when I was starting social media, for me, I speak for everyone, I know, but it does strategies can work for everyone. Only that the thing is, how are you going to structure them? How are you going to narrow them to how you approach them to a point of they attain the goal that you want? I decided Wednesday will be my class day. So Wednesdays, I know I have to spend my time every 2 hours, every evening, to talk to people, to educate people, because I have maintained that aspect of every Wednesday we have to meet for a conversation live on X Spaces. So how can you create that community knowing that every Tuesday I have a chance to engage Zipporah, to engage Jerry at a specific time every single week? It doesn't have to be weekly, it can be monthly. The third C is collaboration. Please don't shy away from looking for somebody else to collaborate to create a conversation on a LinkedIn audio, on Facebook Live, even sitting down to have a conversation in terms of a podcast. You can be in the same space. Let's say you are talking to people who have, let me an example of Zipporah. Zipporah talked about sometimes when she even goes to the to the salon, she's like, I will have to pay half because the other half is not there, right? You can have different people who actually are in this, who have the same challenge, and then you have a conversation, can be on a podcast, on a YouTube channel. They can be doing the same thing in terms of advocating for their rights, educating people how to use the social media and create content, but still you bring them together. That's exactly what I embody, and that is what I feel like is the best solution everyone can think of when you talk about thriving. You can't do it alone, honestly. If you have to do everything by yourself, trust me, some of us will not even be here. And fact is, people build each other. Let's build each other, regardless of the kind of challenges we might be facing, the kind of content that actually will help you. Notice that there are so many people out there who have so many ideas. And listen, okay? Listen as you converse, as you collaborate, and as you build this community. Thank you. Over to you, Joy. Oh, it was Joy or Mary? Mary.
No, it's okay. Joy, you can take it up.
Okay. That was amazing. I feel like I can start creating content tomorrow, right? um,
You should.
beautiful, beautiful conversations. And I like the way you emphasized on let's have conversations, right? And I have just been thinking, how do we make this interesting? Because we find you meet influencers and every day it's the same thing. And I think I have had this conversation with Marianne, and I say sometimes I just scroll because it's the same thing, right? How do we become creative and just be innovative and have things that will also attract our audience? The other thing is approach these big brands. Let's not be scared of approaching these big brands who can support us. I do not know how open they are to collaborating, but again, you will never know if you don't try, right? And consistency.
Joy,
Yes.
this is Alan here, and I hope I'm not intercepting. I would want to add a thing onto the previous speaker, what they shared. And I like what he emphasized about making content creation very simple. And my tip, or something that I would add on to that, is that you might not need to create the content yourself. Engaging with content that has been created by creators that you also subscribe to what they're doing can also be content creation, because there are people who have built, and this is very famous on TikTok, that a person does not create content, but they thrive on the internet by repurposing what has already been created. So I think if you might have a phobia, and I'm gonna say, Joyce, you might have a phobia of content creation, you might not
Yes,
need
I
to put your you might not need to put yourself out there as the face of the content that you are creating, but you might repurpose, you might comment, you might share, you might add a thought onto what other creators have already created, and you really subscribe to that, and then you just amplify their voices. And I like again what you said about building a community and building a tribe, and that is how you start building a community where we get people who subscribe to the same ideologies, which we are talking about: disability inclusion, advocacy, and awareness. And then slowly by slowly, we create this tribe that is able to share and repurpose content that a particular content creator is sharing. And I think I've done this with the content that I have been a part of, that has been created by Jerry, that I do not necessarily need to regurgitate what he has already said, but just to reinforce what he has said, and repost with my thoughts onto what he has already said, so that now we are able to create this snowball effect to show that Jerry is not coming as a standalone content creator, but then the people that he's talking about, that he was engaging with, they sort of thumbs up that content, and they are supporting it going further. I think that is a strategy that we could also look at. Thank you.
Beautiful. Yeah. To be honest, I didn't know that. That is, we can also call that content creation. But yeah, amazing. And I think, yeah, that solidifies what Janet said about also, just checking out a brand that resonates with what you want to do and tapping into that. Yes, thank you. We will jump right to our next question. And I would like to direct this question to Zipporah. The last thing that Janet said was actually we can collaborate with other content creators. So, what are some of the ethical considerations we can look at when collaborating with other brands or organizations on disability content?
Thank you so much. This is so interesting. I'm also learning a few things here and there. So this is so interesting. First of all, I would say, as much as you are telling the stories out here, I would urge that as people are using, the reason why we advocate for personal narrative is that you will never lack a story to tell, or some content to put out there. Like, let's say, for example, today I say, oh, I'm washing clothes with one hand. Tomorrow, it's because it's my life. So you won't say that I'm lacking content to say here and there. So that's why I advocate sana for using you yourself and personal experiences to bring out the stories out there. And on ethical collaborations that we should consider in collaborating with a brand, um, one of us mentioned that when we are collaborating, that we should ensure that it is inclusive and it represents the persons with disability, that the content creator that is creating the content. In such a way, I want to give a story by saying, like, we've all seen maybe on the streets of TikTok, because there is one, it's like another Google search. On the streets of TikTok, when Brian Mushiri was engaged, we also like the way there was this creator who came out and said she's the one who made the clothes for brand Mushiri. Then she was explaining how that this I made this shirt a bit bigger so that brand Mushiri can be able to sleep in and out of it. I made the trousers a bit bigger for this and this purpose. I made the jacket for so it doesn't have buttons, so that he can be able to, just, it has like Velcro material, something of that sort. So when collaborating, make sure that it aligns with the inclusivity. The other thing I can say is that in inclusivity, and even for authenticity of a content creator, of a persons with disability content creator, the difference between, let's say, me and Jerry is that we are all disability advocates, and we're all creating content for disability, but there's just something that stands out between me and Jerry. There's a way that Jerry writes on LinkedIn, there's a way that I talk on maybe TikTok, you see. So you have to remember that you you have to stay true to yourself. And so when you're collaborating with brands, you don't have to fake it sana sana. When you're on the streets of the internet, you can see when someone has faked it. So you have to have true representation and be authentic. And if you're authentic, you can never lose like yourself in there, and you can never even compare yourself to another person. Another thing is that I've had so many of us have been saying about ensuring our content is accessible. By that they meant alt text, captions, sign language interpretation, and all those. So when engaging with brands, like we should get that brand. Some brands might think that that's above like their budget and everything, but now if you're working with a brand, just say that, these are the things that I put, or these are the things that will be put in my content. Another thing is that I think we should avoid the narrative that content that disabled persons with disabilities are like, a burden. So our content should empower, should inspire. Our content should show how we overcame things. So when collaborating with the brands, like let's say if you're collaborating with Downy, you can say, I'll use myself as an example. I'm so sorry. I use myself as an example by saying, like, let's say if I use Downy, I'll be like, oh, Downy is soft on my hand and my leg, so that's why I use it. You're getting. So I'm inspiring people to buy Downy or whatever. Another thing is I feel like brands should engage in continuous disability inclusion, not when we are celebrating like independent, those days is when brands are just coming out. I'll give an example of a brand that I really like. It's called Autobook. Autobook is for it's not word. Prostate if that word prosthetic. Yes. Yes, that one. Now they work with an influencer that who promotes, like when you see even her content, you're like, now that is disability inclusion. They don't have to per se wait for that day, and then they gather all persons with disability and bring them together so that they can just celebrate that one specific day. The last part I would say is that even persons with disabilities or persons without disabilities should be paid like fairly according to their rates. Each one of us individually, there's no like common rate card. That's something that I came to learn recently in my social media journey. There's no like common rate card, so you have to set like your rate card in a different way. Most of the time, content creators are paid like by exposure. They're like, oh, Janet, let me post for you post for me that content, and then I will brag about it, something of that sort. So I feel like if you set your rates, let's say to be 2,000, you should be paid according to that 2,000, and then deliver so that it doesn't. I feel like as content creators, as persons with disabilities who are also content creator and also maneuvering in the space of content creation, it's a bit difficult. You have to really prove you can do it. So I would say if you're into content creation, you have to put your best foot forward. Hey, you have to put in the work so that you can you can get the pay and everything, and also spread awareness. As we are creating content, we're also spreading awareness as much as we're thriving for advocacy and disability inclusion. Yes. The last part I would say is, I don't know if this concludes in that question, is we are being told like we should niche down or anything like, oh, specify a specific niche. But I would say you as someone who is into content or creating content, you are the niche. You have several aspects of you. Like let's say Jerry goes to the gym, Jerry is an intern, Jerry is like, it's a lot of combination of you. So you don't have to just say, Ati, oh, I'm going to talk about this and this and this and this and this. You are the niche. So that's easy. That will be easier for you to attract many other brands and get this money. Yes, thank you.
All right, amazing. Yes, I've just been thinking of branding, and I thought I need to stick to one thing. If I speak about glass, I need to speak about glass throughout. But diversity and yeah, so that is an interesting fact. And then of course authenticity. Yes, I like the line, stay true to yourself. Yes. And of course, the red card and being transparent and communicating about it. I think those are very, very important. Thank you so much. We're still live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and X. And I would like to appreciate some of the people in the who are following the conversation. I can see Karen Morioki. Thank you so much for tuning in. I can see my very good friend Lydia Pretorius all the way from South Africa. Hello. I can see Matthews never Nedavin. Sorry about I am so African, sorry. Anita Mukeshimana. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we have one comment here that is saying, and I think this is in response to what Zipporah was talking about uh, on LinkedIn. It's saying from Africa Special Needs Education Network, they are saying it is important to get consent from the person you want to interview uh, to your content. Yes, very, very important. And that is part of the ethical considerations that we need to take, of course. You cannot bring someone on board without getting their consent. Thank you so much. Jumping to the next question, Jerry, what are the risks of tokenism and how can content creators avoid it?
Thank you, Joyce, for that question. And before I answer it, I just want to get back to what you said before that you always engage with the same content when you even go online and you see a content creator, you just see the same thing. And I will just want to bring it from the lens that myself, I'm a storyteller and I do intersectional advocacy. And when somebody tells me and asks me, Jerry, I don't have a story to tell. What should I write about? I'll just say that you are not in the moment. That's why you're not saying the story, because we live stories each day, each hour, each minute. Even this one right here is a story, and I can go online and I do like a story about like the event that we had today. So I never shy away from telling your story, because I can promise you that that story will bring you good tidings. And just to go back to the question that has been asked, tokenism always happens when persons with disabilities are included in content. Campaigns, and we see discussions in a way that is like a performative, it is exploitative, and we are not being fully meaningful. We are not being meaningfully engaged with them, and it happens when we are being just reduced to symbols of diversity, and inclusion happens for optics, and there is no real change that is happening, and it comes with a risk, I'm talking representation creates an illusion of progress without even addressing the barriers that we are facing each and every day, and are exploited repetitively. We have always seen it, and we have been seeing it. We see a brand, we see people always writing only on the disability awareness days, and after that day, you'll never see them mention disability again for the rest of the year until another disability awareness day comes. So disability is being used as a checkbox for representation rather than a meaningful commitment to inclusion, and that's a risk, because token representation often upholds ablaze narratives, and we never challenge them. It is an ever-ending cycle. We do this year, and then we wait again for disability awareness day next year, then we do the same thing, and that really doesn't help. and also token representation. And I've also like struggled with this. It leads to underpayment and even what the previous speaker mentioned, consent, and there is also non-consensual use of persons with um disabilities stories for corporate gains and all that. So these are risks that we should as a content creators come out to address. And how we can avoid it is by doing a meaningful inclusion, like inclusion of persons with disabilities. We are being included in every stage of planning. Let's speak of decision making and execution of a content that is being created, rather than being an afterthought. And also I want to uh, um, stress on compensate persons with disabilities who are content creators fairly. Um, uh, am often being texted that Jerry, we like your content and we would like to give you exposure. Exposure is non-payment. Persons with disabilities who are content creators should be compensated for their work, for even consulting, speaking, and even the content creation itself. That's work. And so compensation is also very important. And also committing to long-term change and ensuring that accessibility, inclusion, and representation are ongoing. Or it is not just a one-off gesture. We should not only post during the disability awareness days and all that. We should be consistent, be putting content out there, and ensure that the representation is always ongoing. And also amplify, and we shouldn't be spoke over. Help us amplify our content and our stories. Instead of telling our stories for us, pass the mic to me and let me tell my own story. So I think these are some of the ways, the risks, and how we can actually avoid that tokenism when it comes to content creation. Thank you, Joyce.
Thank you, Jerry. That was so informative on tokenism. It's very true that many brands are yet to understand that even persons with disability can do the same work that those people who have no disability are still doing. You see, for you as a brand to come to me, it means that you have seen that I can do this thing. So if I can do it, why then pay me less than another person who has no disability? So as content creators, Jerry is saying it is time you stand up. And also we had Zipporah saying that you need to have a red card, which is very true. So it's all about knowing your worth and working towards it. So my next question, I will direct it to Madam Janet again. Janet Machuka, kindly, what strategies, in your view, can content creators use to combat algorithmic, algorithmic bias against disability-related content?
Algorithmic. I know
Yes,
sometimes
thank you.
when it comes
Yeah.
to when it comes to the algorithms, let's just be open and say it's very hard for most of us to actually keep up with the algorithms, even if we don't create exclusive content. But I will give you some of the ways I think that can help you right now. And I think this will help you create content that is inclusive, because we keep on talking about inclusivity, and to give you an access to more audiences and people to hear you, to listen to you, to read you, to watch you, and all that. I know we talk about create content that is diverse in terms of the formats. But I would like you to try out the video format, because in the video you can capture a lot of people at the same time. They can see, and I think that is why we had this live conversation on video, and then we have audio, and then we have someone who is doing the sign language, so that it can be inclusive in all. And high chances, I don't know if people can be able to read the captions on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on Twitter, and I hope they do. If you notice lately, most of the platforms give you an option to put the LinkedIn caption on or Facebook caption on. But sometimes you notice some platforms won't give you that opportunity. So what will you do? If you're creating a video, please make sure that you also add the captions. You don't have to do the captions by yourself. By the way, there's a tool called Captions. It can give you access to, it can give you free access, but for those on iOS, I know most of the iOS phones will ask you to pay for the tools. But for the Android, you can access the captions. But if you have to pay, it's just a small amount. And that means if you are very enthusiastic about content creation, you will pay even that 300 bob to just make sure that you get more visibility and more engagement. And algorithms love something called engagement. They love when you're seen more, when you are engaged more, and when you are conversed on the comment section more. So spend on that content creation. Even it has to be 300 shillings to get access to that application, so that it can change the video to also add the caption, at least so that other people can listen. It means more audience will be able to engage you. Use it, do it. Another thing is, I know we say content formats, it's good to go with all the content formats, but also make sure that you understand what kind of content is trending at the moment. What format is everyone looking forward to reading? If you look at all social media platforms right now, you'll notice that they have a section for videos. I don't know if anyone has noticed that. On X, it has a section for videos, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok.
Yeah,
Even if it doesn't have to be you in front of a camera, some of us are actually shy. Some of us even can't withstand ourselves in the mirror. What if on a video? It can't happen, you know? So if you can start with your voice, if you have the voice, well and good, go use it. If it has to be the words, start with this. We have so many AI tools that can turn your audio, that can turn your words into an audio, into a video. So use that if you can. Okay? And the best way to start with it is use tools to actually help you. Don't think these tools are going to make your social media look, nowadays people read some posts and they say, oh, this is ChatGPT. It doesn't mean that you don't have to add your words. Use them to help you understand how to create the content, understand how you can beat the algorithm, and how you can even work with the algorithm. So content format really matters. Another thing I wanted to talk about is the mainstream aspect of it. There is nothing that is amazing as social proof. It will work for you. And this is what I mean. If you're a champion and you have maybe a CBO in your community, and you want to talk about it on social media, but people on social media are not giving you the attention because you don't have enough community members or even the people who follow you. Go ahead and pitch to the media houses. Look for journalists who feature people in your space, who talk about disability conversations, who write articles, who record videos on the same. Give yourself an opportunity to show up and be featured. It can be on the newspapers, it can be on the radio. And once they feature you, take that clip, if it has to be an audio or video, or if it has to be an article on the Standard Media, on Nation Africa, use it to share it to your social media platforms. There is something amazing about social proof. And mainstream media still play an important role when it comes to us as content creators. Some of the people who are content creators on digital, we didn't know them. And some even we don't know them. But because tomorrow we'll be reading newspapers and maybe seeing them celebrating themselves on LinkedIn, we'll be like, oh, you're actually doing an amazing stuff in the community. And that is how we tend to engage you more. And you'll notice that that social proof is not just about the mainstream media alone. In the digital platforms, we have podcasts, we have Zipporah, who has a whole YouTube channel that can give you an opportunity to share your story. That collaboration I was talking about, that is the best way to navigate and also beat that algorithm. The more you are being mentioned, the more people talk about you, the more social media lands and says, oh, this person actually has an authority. This person has something to tell the rest. So they help you get access to more people. That's what the algorithm does. And sometimes people wonder, how do some people get a lot of engagements from time to time? It's the aspect of what I talked earlier: conversation, collaboration, and community. People in the community will constantly talk with you, converse with you, have questions for you, or maybe share their opinions with you, and they will mention you from time to time. The mentioning alone is a great way to also make the algorithm understand that you're the right person and you are the person to be engaged on the platforms. And the moment it notices that, your content is pushed to more audiences. Talking about trends, I know right now people, I like the fact that we are talking about Saratoga, the current trend, the fitness guy. Some people might wonder, how am I going to join in this conversation? And I like how Zipporah was like, we are so focused on niching to a point that we are forgetting to be social. This is a social media space. We need to bring out our aspects of social. And in terms of being social, you always have an opinion. Your friend has a problem with the other friends. You have an opinion. So can you also voice your opinion about how you feel, how you think about a certain trend? It doesn't have to be linked directly to what you do, but also like being part of the conversation and making your social media social. So when you're also creating content, don't just focus on, education content or promotional content, or I'm talking about the advocacy aspect alone. Balance the content. That will help you be able to act as a media. What does the media do? The media entertains, the media informs, the media educates, and the media becomes the watchdog of the society. And this is where the social conversations come in. Another thing, build authority if you can. And when I'm talking about authority is come out as the person who really understands what they are doing. And when it comes to authority, I know most of the people look at, thought leadership. Leadership itself, even if you don't have to talk about the thought leadership. How do you build it? It's about consistency. What are you doing on the spaces? How are you engaging with the audiences? And by the way, the best way to get yourself into it, sometimes it may be very hard to create content, as Joy says, I don't know what to post. I don't know where to start. Always go ahead and map out the different people who are having conversations or who have the highest engagement from time to time. And they relate with the kind of content you post. Just mark what times they usually post their content. But if you don't know, kindly turn on their notifications so that every single time they post, you're among the first few to share your thoughts. Fun fact about human beings, we love the comment section. That is where the juice is. That is where the gossip is, if it has to be the gossip. That's where ideas are born. Can we make the comment section our darling? And if you do, you notice that people most of the time follow you from the comment sections of other people's posts. Why? The moment you share your thoughts, people go like, I really like your mind. I really like your direction. I like your angle. Let me check you out. By the way, that's what we do all the time. That is what we do. And then we go ahead and check, you are Joy. Scroll, first scroll, second scroll through your post. You're like, I really like what you post. Let me follow you. That's somebody adding to your community and would like to be engaging. Why? You are building the algorithm to notice that you actually exist. How? You went to the conversation section, you commented, you added your opinion, and now people are finding you. Sometimes it's very hard for people to find you if you don't share your thoughts in other people's posts, especially those people who have high engagements. Another thing, most of us post for the sake of posting, or maybe post because we have a thought to post. The question is, do you really understand the time people are on your social media platform? We usually say people are on social media all the time, but do you know you can build a schedule for your audience to know these are the times you are active the most on the platforms, and they can come on that particular time to engage with your content and to learn from you, or if they have more questions to ask you, they will ask you. So do a social media audit. Check the analytics. Facts will never lie. Data will never lie. It will tell you what time people are engaging with you and which content they love the most. If they love the visuals, it means you have to go more visuals. If they love polls, also add polls into your post. Which day do they engage with you the most? And what do they engage in? On weekends, personally, I love being like, I don't have to talk about marketing again. We are tired from the entire week talking about marketing. Can we change the topic? Now, this is where your media skill comes in. You don't have to be a journalist for you to know this. You're using the media. Everyone right now feels like they are journalists. We can do everything other media houses can, media personnel can do. So, how can you use that opportunity? Okay. Lastly, I'll say this: let the trends work for you. Doesn't mean when one trend is so viral, that's the only trend that is there. Use Google search, understand what is happening, ask people in the groups you're in, check out different hashtags. If you have to use hashtags, use keywords to search and see what are people talking about the most. And the fun fact about everything is sometimes people think that the things that become viral or the conversations that we see on social media just came from the machines or from the social media platforms. No, we are the people who make the conversations. We are the people who make the trends. You can be that person who makes that trend. So, what are you doing different? Are you featuring other people's stories that are unique to make people talk, to make people gather in your content, to listen, to engage, and to make the algorithm love you? That's a question I'll leave you. Thank you so much.
A good question. Even
Beautiful.
challenging me. It's challenging me. Thank you so much, Madam Janet, and a very big shout out to Katerina Nyambura, Elsa, Lydia. There was somebody who was asking if the session is being recorded. I've just been informed that this session or the discussion will be available on LinkedIn for the longest. So you can go there, check it out anytime, any day. It will not be erased anytime soon. So you have enough time to get any point that you had not gotten when the the speakers were presenting. Also, there is somebody called Waziri. Thank you for tuning in. And Waziri was asking if there is any impact of content creators in terms of speaking about disability. And that will bring me to the next question because you have just prompted me. And the question will be directed to none other than our journalist, Alan Herbert. I know in media you have the way that you will view how the content performed on different areas. So on these social media platforms, many people are not understanding how we can how we can measure the impact that our posts have gotten or the niche that our posts have gotten to. So my question to you, Alan, kindly, how can content creators measure the impact of their advocacy work?
Thank you very much for the question. And this is a trick question in one way or the other. And I don't know if first I delve into that particular question or I react to what previous speakers spoke about. But when it comes to engaging or to measuring the impact that you are making within your or through the content that you have created, there are professional tools, as the previous speaker has mentioned, that measuring the impact of your content or the far and reach of your content is also very important to the social media platforms. And it is what the algorithm uses to make sure that it understands how your content works. And also you are supposed to study how to pick this data. So most of the applications or the social media applications, they have inbuilt analytics tools. TikTok has its own analytic tool. If you are watching on LinkedIn, they send you notifications to show you how your posts have been doing. So you can be able to use those tools. But of course, there are other tools that can now go further and disaggregate that data to the last set of data, people who are you are engaging with, from what country are they coming from, and all of that. And the most famous tool that is external, that isn't within social media platforms, is Google Analytics. And of course, there are other what you call social media suite applications that help you to manage your social media platforms, where you'd find a platform. I'm forgetting a couple of them, but I would have shared a number where you log in and you link all your social media platforms within this one platform, and then you are able to post simultaneously onto different platforms, and you are able to pick analytics from that tool that is helping you do that. So that is how you could be able to measure or look at the impact of your content. But then the question is, do you stop there? Because you also have to be able to look at because most of us look at impressions, or most of us look at likes, or most of us look at comments, but then you have to sit down and after looking at the analytics, and ask yourself, what type of engagement have I been able to get on this particular post? The comments that people are sharing, what comments are they, and how can I respond to some of these comments? Because there in those comments lies content to help you remain consistent about what you're doing. And of course, looking as well at the people who are interacting with your content. Why I don't like impressions, you can get 10,000 impressions, but those people, have they been turned into subscribers or followers? Have they commented, or have they liked your content? And for you to be able to measure your success, you are supposed to look at some of the likes and some of the comments. Who is commenting? How can I strike a conversation with them? How can I extend this content to them? Because you might, for instance, and I think, Jerry, this could be a very right position for you to even engage further into the stories that you tell. Because I see people who comment on your content and they ask questions that I'm calling you out, but from a brotherly point of view, that you do not engage with further sometimes, not always, but sometimes. But if you are able to go behind the scenes and talk to this particular person, and probably write a collective or a collaborative blog and say that out of this comment, we were able to write this particular piece, or out of this comment of somebody who said that they are going through this particular challenge, I was able to talk to them, and this is how we were able to collaboratively work to solve that particular problem. And those are some of the tools that you should use, or those are some of the things that you should look at. But also, I know it is very satisfying to see that 1,000, 100 people, 1,000, 10,000 people engaged with your content. But this is to people who get 10, 25, 3 likes on your on your content. Remember that these are people who probably might not know you. And if we got 50 people and put them in a room where you seated or where you are pushing out that piece of content or posting that piece of content, those are people that you cannot talk to at the same time. So those are so many people. So this is just to encourage content creators with disabilities. Amidst the numbers that you are getting currently, do not stop, because slowly by slowly, as the previous speaker spoke said, you are going to build a tribe, and eventually you will start seeing the impact that you want to see. As I'm winding up, I want to go back to a couple of things that previous speakers have said, And I will only focus on one. That one of the speakers, I think I will only focus on two, and one of them is about a previous speaker who spoke about being able to inspire other people without disabilities to look at the things that we are doing. And as much as I might or I agree with you, but also as content creators with disabilities, we have to be very keen on the storyline of the content that we are putting out there, because we do not also want to become sources of inspiration to the people that we are creating this content to an extent that quote unquote, and I use this in quotes, kama ule mlemavu anaweza fanya hivi, mbona wewe usifanye hivi, or if this person with disability can do this, then why am I not able to do it? But rather from an empowering point of view. So that storyline, how you craft it, can either make or break the content that you put out there. And I've come across instances where you look at a piece of content, it is very amazing, but then the person with a disability who's creating this piece of content is still perpetuating the narratives that we are working to demystify. I just wanted to push that out there. And when it comes to about matters to do with fair remuneration, and this is something that as a whole in the content creation space, not only persons with disabilities, everybody is complaining about. So then probably the question we should be asking ourselves, what legislation would we be able to advocate or to champion to make sure that content creators are paid fairly? But also, I am a person who believes in providing value before we even ask for some of these hefty amounts of money that we want to put on our red cards. Have we really, because I don't think it's just about putting out the content. It's also about how does this content look like? Does this content speak to a particular demographic? How do you, I like a phrase that Cat Williams, the comedian, used, that in this day and age, we have a lot of influencers that cannot influence anything. So yes, we might be content creators, but are we able to move movements to the extent that we are able to ask for 1,000, 2,000 US dollars for our content, or for us to be contracted to do and to put out content on behalf of organizations? I think that's where I will leave it at.
All right. Thank you so much, Alan. That's insightful. I'm part of those who, when I upload my content, I find like I have no interaction. I will either pull it down or do it away with it, then repost it later on after correcting some one or two errors that maybe I could have noticed. So thank you for at least encouraging me personally to keep on keeping on. And right now, I will let it slide to my co-host, Grace.
Thank you so much. I am seeing a lot of comments. The session is very insightful, very informative. I am hoping we'll do this more. And yes, of course, like we said, we have been live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Sorry, X. Lord, I'm so old. Okay, so the conversation will still be ongoing. For those who came late, you can listen in even after this. And I would just like to take a few comments and questions from our listeners. I'm seeing here, thank you, Jerry, so much for providing us with tips on avoiding creating a hashtag performative culture on social media. Um, Elsa Wanderi is saying, I was able to create calendars for children with disabilities spanning the years 2020 to 2022. It was an excellent method to highlight their beauty on the wall. And she made the connections through social media. Awesome, awesome. I am seeing Katerina, who is also a content creator, saying, I strongly agree. It's about time organizations stop using the word exposure when they want to engage content creators with disabilities. Yes. Um, Yes, yes, yes. Social media etiquette is very important. Yes. And finally, Ivy Moredi is asking, hi everyone, I have a question to create awareness in different disability. It is like this day I will create awareness on cerebral palsy as persons with disabilities. Can I use social media platforms? Absolutely, but I'm sure our panelists will respond. And then, of course, um, as we approach Autism Acceptance Month in April, my call to post positive stories about autistic adults and what they have contributed to the society. So, yes, yes, yes. And I have heard that data does not lie. The conversations are in the comments. So, my dear panelists, you can go through the comments, and there's a lot of content thirst out here. So yes, we need to do more content. So at this point, I want to give our panelists an opportunity to give their parting shots, and then we can proceed from there. Uh, should we go the aggressive way and see who is more aggressive, or Ah, or I'll just call on Zipporah to give her parting shots first. Karibu.
Okay, thank you so much. This is so insightful again, I say. First of all, I would like to answer Ivy Muridi, who was asking if she can use social media to create content. Yes, social media is like now you should treat social media as your safe space, like now, like your journal. Like, and I would say that when you're creating content, Ivy, don't shy away and be like, oh, I'm getting 10 likes, and then you're comparing yourself to someone else. Imagine when I was starting out, I didn't have that much engagement, and then it used to bug me so much because I'm starting out and then I'm seeing someone else like having like thousands and thousands. I'm wondering, where are they getting it? But someone told me that imagine these 10 people come to you, Ivy, and say, Ivy, I like that post you did. Ivy this, Ivy that. Like those are a lot of physical people. So even if you get small views and everything, imagine those are people that you've seen physically. If on TikTok, I'll give an example of TikTok because TikTok you get likes very fast and views very fast. It's a kidogo easy platform. So even if you're stuck on the 200 view jail, we call it a jail because sometimes when you're stuck there, you're not able to get out of it. So even if you're stuck there, imagine these are 200 people that just passed and had like cerebral palsy. Ivy saying something on cerebral palsy. Atakama, they did not stay there, they just passed and then had that, and then treat the likes as the people now who stayed and be like, oh, so Ivy, you are talking about cerebral palsy and nini, nini, and nini, nini. And then now treat the comments as now people who asked questions who are like, oh, so Ivy, what is cerebral palsy? What what can we do about this and this and this and this? So if you're starting out, don't mind about the numbers. Don't mind about the numbers. Just enjoy the moment, create the moment, treat it like a journal. I say treat it like a journal. Like now you're writing your memories. You're like, oh, I did this and all that. And then on something else, I would say there's nothing as bad publicity. It's how you convert it. Like let's say if you create a post there and then someone goes and they're talking negatively about you, what you can do is this is your platform. I say this is a safe space. This is your platform. You are the driver. So you can change the narrative and be like, educate people on that. So don't say that, oh, people just said bad things about me on TikTok. So I'm not going to do it again. No, just take it and then I'll drive us in the right direction. And then another thing that I would say in creating content, you have to mix. You don't have to go, work a lot of work makes you like dull, so you have to, let's say, take breaks. As much as you're niching down to educational content, mix your content, make funny, make relatable videos, make, let's say, transitions, all those things. So mix your content so that it's not like It's not all like school and everything. It's not kidogo boring. So mix it. And then you have to be authentic to yourself and find out what sticks to you. I'll give an example of a content creator on TikTok. She's called Nancy. She has she she has a prosthetic leg. She uses dark humor. Like you see on TikTok, hey, if you're not very strong, people there can just tear you down in seconds. So she just saw this opportunity. So people are just saying, oh, kama huyu naweza muinamisha in whatever way. So she just takes that narrative and then educates. So just find you basically. So that might work for her and it might not work for someone else. So as much as we can give narratives, we can be like, oh, talk about the numbers and everything, you have to start creating content to know what works for you. The way I said, the difference between me and Jerry can be like, Jerry is a very good storyteller. Me, I'm very good at talking. I can talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. So just find what works for you. Yes, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That is very and just thinking about it, cyberbullying. Yeah, you need to be strong. Hey, that humor and okay, I don't know, but yeah. So maybe next time we can look at how do we manage cyberbullying, right? All right. So I will stick to the ladies. So Janet, and I can see Grace Ndegwa saying, "I wish I had this 3 years ago." And yes, me too. Yes, Janet, please, your parting shots.
Great. It was not just me coming here to share. I also learned from the speakers, and I'm a fan of having a beginner's mindset. And think that is one of the things that I will leave you. Don't think that having 2 years, 3 years in experience will make you master everything in content creation. Every single day we are learning. So take the time to learn, upskill if you have to, and learn. Because when you talk about algorithms, things change in days, in minutes, in seconds. And people are shifting conversations like nobody's business. One time they're talking about tea, the next people are talking about totally different things. If you don't catch up, you are lost. That's what happens all the time. And I think something else you have to do is give yourself time and grace. Don't push so hard to grow within 1 week. As much as you can have that strategy, yes, that strategy, let it be your roadmap, but don't pressure yourself too much. If you do everything in 1 month, what will you be doing 2 years from now? Honestly, what will you be doing? See, so give yourself. And I think that is why people sometimes say, 10 years ago, you go like, 10 years? You started 10 years ago, and here you are still doing the same thing? They never push themselves to do everything. Don't break your back for everything. Just do what you can today so that you can leave the others to be done tomorrow. A very funny joke that I usually tell my colleagues and my team is that imagine if you did everything today at work. Why will you be coming to work tomorrow and why will I pay you? Don't need to. So give yourself time. Growth is gradual. Learn and learn, educate yourself. If you have to take courses, take those courses. Even as much as we might be all the experienced digital marketers, they are running big corporations and all that. We learn every day. We learn every day. And don't think that you are too, maybe you have grown, you have got maybe 2 years experience, you're doing amazing stuff, and then you'll be like, now my work will be just posting and going. Please post and create time to engage people. And you will learn this as time goes by, because especially when you have a lot of attention, you freak out a lot. You go like, oh my God, people want the next post. Oh my God, what will I say? Oh, I'm famous. Social media will shock you. You can be famous on social media, but when people meet you physically, they'll be like, they won't even point at you. They will pass as if you don't actually exist. So just know on social media, you are there to build a relationship with people that can actually help you also turn your presence into money. I know everyone right now talks about, I don't want to create content just for fun. Some are creating for society. Some are creating to change the policies. Some are creating to even think about, I want to collaborate with a brand in future I can earn money. Others are not even motivated by the money. Give me money, I go buy my stuff. They just want to travel the world. I've seen a lot of people in the disability space who are traveling. They are having fun. They're being part of conversations. They are sharing their experiences. They are sharing what they're doing in the society, and that is the power of social media. And one thing you should learn about social media is this: you might think you're building just yourself through the content, but remember, this content is helping you to be seen. The people who will give you the opportunity to access that money you talk about are on the other side of social media, are on that platform, are in those collaborations, are in those conversations, and are in that community you build. And I hope to see you around building great communities and reaching out in case you need any help. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Janet. Yes, a good friend of mine keeps telling me progress, not perfection. Yes, it's progressive, and at the same time, we can have fun while at it. Thank you so much. Jerry, please.
Thank you, Joyce. So I would say that number one, find your niche. Number two, build your network. Number three, tell your story. Because myself, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, nobody ever knew who I was or like what I can do and the skills I had. It is through telling my story that people got to know of me. People got to know of who I am. I can tell stories. I can speak in events. I can advocate and all that. And I like a quote from one of the people I always look up to, whose name is Hamed Kayode Alabi. And he says that if you, because of my story, don't accept me, that is not my problem. It is yours. And we might not align today, but maybe tomorrow we will. So I never shy away from telling that story. Tell that story because you never knew. Sorry, because you never know who is watching. Someone is always watching. I can say that myself. My biggest opportunities, whether they are like speaking events, whether they are like gigs and all that, they came from people who never liked, who never commented on my post, but they just reach out to me and say that, Jerry, I've been seeing you, I like your story, and I would like to collaborate with you. So the goal is not always virality or being viral, but the goal is visibility. Go out there, tell your story, let the world know who you are. It doesn't matter whether you get one engagement, two engagements, and others get thousands of engagements. Just know that somebody somewhere is watching, and an opportunity will come, and you'll have to be prepared for the opportunity because people will always see themselves in your story. So I never shy away from telling your story, guys. Let's continue advocating. Let's put out content there. Don't think that I will get one like, I will get 2 likes. Just put it out there. That content that you put out there, someone is watching it, someone is seeing it, and you will get good tidings from telling your story. So mine is just to encourage us and just like be ourselves, be authentic in the stories we share. We know we live stories each day, each minute, each hour. We can never lack something to speak about. So never shy away. And that's my parting shot to you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jerry. I will try to tame my fear and take that bold step. Yes. Finally, Alan Herbert, please.
And Joy, I honestly, one of these fine days, I will hold you accountable to those words that you said after Jerry spoke. Yeah. So my parting shot is just to reinforce what everybody has said. I wouldn't really want to regurgitate what they have already said, but as that fear, I basically just put yourself out there. That's all I would say. And if you are not confident enough, jump onto what other people are doing and reshare and repurpose their content. A comment and a comment is just sometimes also good enough, and you will also be counted for making sure that that content was able to reach more people. Thank you.
Asante sana. And yes, please, I will be accountable. I would like to have my co-moderator also give her parting shots, and then we can conclude.
Thank you, Joy. This has been an informative session, very insightful, interactive, and I just want to say thank you so much to our good panelists. You people, you've done an amazing job. Also, thank you for everybody who tuned in. It has been amazing, and we could not do this without you people. So I just want to say that somebody has suggested that we do this again on Instagram, which I will give out the feedback to UDPK and see how it can be brought to the limelight through Instagram. Again, I say thank you so much for tuning in. Yes, Joyce, back to you.
Thank you so much, Mary. I will just give this opportunity to Marianne to also close the session for us, and also maybe respond, when are we having this session on Insta? All right, Marianne. Marianne, we can see you.
Joyce, can you see Marianne on your end? I cannot see her on my end.
No, I can't see her from my end, but I can
Okay.
see you. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Um, we might be experiencing connectivity challenges. Marianne, can you hear us? All right. Marianne is trying to connect, uh, having some challenges with the video connection. We can't see you. We still can't see you. Okay. Finally. Karibu Marianne.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It was a technical hitch, and I'm sorry. So this was quite a good and amazing session. Um, You see, personally, as a content creator, as well as a storyteller, um, some of these strategies have worked for me, and I have learned new ones. Um, I really appreciate all the speakers and moderators, and truly, I have loved all your perspectives. I would really like to apologize to our LinkedIn viewers. We have experienced some challenges with the first link, but you can still access the session and learn anytime. We've posted it on LinkedIn. Thank you so much to our viewers. We are here because of you, and we appreciate your time. Thank you, and see you next time. Thank you so much, and bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.